Doing locums. Doing locums is a very well established system in medicine. Locums really means locum tenens. It's a Latin, holding a temporary place. You know, it's where doctors, usually doctors, fill in or do a temporary job. It may be in a hospital, it may be in a clinic or elsewhere, but they just fill in a temporary job. And this is a very well established system. It can be in the public or the private system. Often it's in the public system. It's where you're filling in for someone who may be on holiday or some unexpected departure from the work and they need to be filled in. It's a very well established system actually in the UK. It's been there for a long time. In Australia it's been burgeoning, really taking off, developing a corporate structure around it. If you look on the internet you can see there's lots of companies or agencies are providing locum jobs for you. Now, this is usually a system that's good for you in your career when you're starting off. You can go around the place, you actually get very well paid, your air travel and your accommodation is provided. And you can work at a job, see if you fit in, see if you like the people who are there, see if the opportunities really are there, and you get well compensated for it. It's also a job, a temporary job, towards the end of your career. You may only want to work part-time, you don't want all the responsibilities of continuing to run your private clinic or full formal job. You just fill in with locum jobs. So it'd be quite satisfying and quite useful. Now, the thing is that the downside of it is that actually you go to a place you don't know, you put up in some motel, it might be a bit rough. Sometimes the hospital you work at, particularly in a public hospital, in a very busy specialty such as anaesthesia, orthopedics, they try to get their money out of their values worth out of their work into the ground. The other downside of it is that locums aren't really much good for hospitals that they work in. Yeah, I know they do the work, but they don't actually have any loyalty towards the place. That means building up the structure, going to meetings, you know, building up the strength of the institution. It's not just doing your work, it's also support, meetings, loyalty and that sort of thing. So in terms of long term, having a hospital run just purely by locums is not good at all. And the public hospital system in Australia largely is their crisis, and many places depend upon locums, and this is just not a way to run a service. You need a cohesive, loyal, permanent staff. One other thing you've got to watch out for locums, young doctors who are listening to this, is that it's developing a corporate structure, very well run businesses. You know, the headhunters, like Seek.com, the recruiting. You've got to be very careful with these people because they're not really that regulated. You know, they've got a big spin, they're good talkers on the phone, they want to find out about you, where you are in your career, and actually they're just treating you pretty much like a commodity. Remember, it took you a long time to get where you are. Don't sell yourself short. You know, they just dump you or drop you into a position, and you've got to find out a bit more about it. What's expected of you, what are the hours, make sure you've got proper travelling there, proper accommodation. You know, in Australia sometimes they put you into desperate areas where there's a lot of social strife and you can get into a lot of trouble and have a pretty miserable time of it. So these people, the locum agencies, they basically try to get away with treating you as a commodity. You've got to resist that, you know, be careful. Otherwise, doing locums pays very well, can be quite satisfying to get around and see different places and do different jobs and see what's happening around the place.